Good morning, everyone. Let me begin by thanking Priya Soni and the entire team at GROHE India. It's been a decade of partnership. It's been 10 years trying to tell the story of in India's real estate economy through the eyes of entrepreneurs and companies. I always say that the objective of Hurun List is not to look at the story of an economy on a year-on-year basis, but you try to analyze these stories over 3 years and 5 years and 10 years, and that sort of tells you how the economy has fared despite all the macroeconomic conditions, situation in our world. So before I hit to the 10-year trend or what's really went behind the list, let me give some data. So we've tried to rank top 150 companies in the list. We have ranked 150 companies in the list. Since the 150th and the 151st company are the same valuation, the total number of companies in the list is about 151. So cumulatively, they employ almost 4 lakh people. That's nearly 4 lakh Indians between them. And they've developed almost 3.6 billion square feet, which is almost 335 square kilometers. That's more than more land in the cities of Kolkata, Vadodara, Nashik, and Srinagar. Last year, these companies in the list paid almost rupees 8,500 crores in taxes on a cumulative revenue of almost 3.5 lakh crores. So that's home, offices, jobs, public revenue at scale, and everything. Now the valuation, the combined valuation of all these companies in the list is about 17 lakh crores. That's almost $171 billion US dollars. That's roughly the GDP of Kuwait sitting inside this 151 Indian real estate companies. It's not been such a great year from a year-on-year comparison perspective. It's the overall value of the list by just 2% against the 14% last year. It's been the lowest since the list history, and it came in the backdrop of PSA Realty Index falling about 20% in the same period. Only 31 of the 151 companies gained value and 74 declined. The threshold to make the list has climbed to 1,200 crores, up from 1,000 crores last year. And the 73 of these companies are now listed, and the listed companies hold about 71% of the overall list value. That's again the highest since the list has been launched in the last 10 years. And that's the snapshot. And the snapshot tells you about the current status of the list and where we are. But it's also very interesting to understand how the real estate economy, the country has evolved using this Hurun India Real Estate list as a parameter. So it's been 10 years, so I've tried to come with 10 points to try and cover these things, right? The first point, the size, the overall value of these companies, the list has grown by 8 times in the last decade. So when the list began, the total cumulative value of these companies were under rupees 2 lakh crores. Now that number is almost 17 lakh crores. That's more than 8 times in 10 years. We've also increased the coverage of the list from 100 to 150 because the real estate companies in India were growing, and we thought it's important to increase the coverage. Institutionalized is a real story. 73 companies on the list are now listed, up from 48 just 2 years ago, and they hold 71% of list's value. And you also have 5 REITs, real estate investment trusts, which got featured in the list. And that's also very exciting from a research or from an overall value creation standpoint, because REITs gives consumers an opportunity to own a slice of an A-grade real estate property. And the primary value creation REITs have happened through commercial leasing, rental, and so on. But over the next 10 years, as more and more investments into warehouses, data centers around go up, you will see a lot of maturity and the evolution of REITs as well. So over the last 10 years, more and more real estate companies going public, more and more REITs coming on board. So you see that visible change in the Indian real estate economy. The management got changed. Again, this is quite exciting. In 2021, in the same list were to be produced 2021, only 11 of these companies were led by professional CEOs. And that number is 46 today. That's almost 4 times more. And these professional CEOs are in charge of 54% of the value of the entire list. So that's also quite encouraging to see a lot more professional managers coming on forefront and leading these companies. This is very interesting. More and more Indian real estate companies are going global and going national as well. So 10 years back, when we published the first list, when we speak to some of these top entrepreneurs and ask them, wait, are you just going to go beyond your home city? Are you expanding? The most common answer was, oh, real estate is a very local opportunity. We have to focus on the local market. The regulations are very different in every state. And, that is the whole bunch of reasons that's come. But now, so 10 years back, the number of companies in the Hurun India Real Estate which has gone beyond their home state was about 10 to 15. But that number is 107. So 107 of the 150 companies have gone beyond their home state, gone national. What even more interesting is that 23 companies in the list have even gone global. That they're not just operating in India, but they've gone global as well. And that's very much in line with the trend or the fact and the reality that Indian diaspora is possibly the strongest in the world. And I really think there's a lot of opportunity for more and more established brand names in India going beyond India and interacting with the diaspora population there. Then the thresholds, right? The threshold to enter the list sort of shows how strong the cohort is. The threshold to enter the list in 2024 was about 1,100 crores, and that dipped to 1,000 crores the last year, and we sit at about 1,200 crores now. So now threshold has gone up. And if you look at the threshold to enter the list as well, right? The entry threshold is now nearly 3 times what it was 5 years ago. And to rank among the top 10 most valuable companies, so that sort of gives you a clear understanding of how the top 10 has done. Among the top 10, 2 years ago, the value of the company had to be 33,000 crores. That number is 53,000 crores now. The bar is climbed 20,000 crores even as the market fell. And to sit among the top 10 wealthiest real estate families, the price of admission has gone 6-fold in a decade, from rupees 3,350 crores in 2017 to 20,500 crores today. And again, the top 10. That number has also doubled in just last 5 years. So if you can see, there's a lot of consolidation, growth among some of the most reputed the brands in the country. But 2026 obviously is cold. The value of the list has gone down by 2%. But again, put things into perspective. We also published the Hurun China Rich List. There, if you look at the story, is quite dismal, in the sense that the top 10, some of them have gone bankrupt. Some of the household names like Country Garden, that used to sell about $100 billion a year, barely escaped liquidation. Or be it the case of Evergrande, that's been ordered into liquidation and found is pleaded guilty to fraud. Or be it the state-backed Vanke, which survives only on repeated government intervention. So if you do a comparison within India's top 10 and the huge economy like China's top 10, you could clearly see that Indian real estate companies and promoters have done fairly well and in a sustainable fashion compared to a competitor, if I could use a word, like China. Yeah, of course, growth has not been great this year. I did mention that there's been a decline in value. But again, if you just look at if you were to publish just by taking the list from the March of this year to now, the reality index has gone up by almost 44%. The story will be different. I'm expecting that the next year when we publish the list, the story will be much brighter than what it is this year. For the first time, we always publish the real estate rich list as well, basically based on the methodology is we just look at the real estate holdings of the entrepreneur and publish a rich list based on the value of their holdings. For the first time, we have a number 1 when it comes to GROHE, Hurun India Real Estate Rich List. Gautam Adani and family becomes the number 1 entrepreneur in the GROHE Hurun Real Estate Rich List, beating Rajiv Singh of DLF. This is also quite exciting. Point number 9, which is basically for the first time a startup entered the top 10. Prism Oyo's real estate count grew 107%, added nearly 35,000 crores and jumped 6th place and walked into the top 10, and this is based on the filings for the IPO. And it's done by Ritesh Agarwal, who started as a budget accommodation for Oyo, but is being expanded globally, turned the company around, have active operations in Europe, US, and so on. The number 10 point is, of course, hospitality was a footnote when we started the list about 10 years back. Now there are 24 entrants in hospitality. Retail has got a good like malls and everything has found a good footing in the list as well. But residential debt faced a little bit of a stress last year, and hopefully that will change next year. So I opened with that there has been a little bit of a stagnation in terms of value, but then if you look at the overall picture in terms of how India as a country is done when it comes to real estate economy, just by using the GROHE Hurun India Real Estate 150 as a vantage point, it's been fantastic. The value has grown 8 times. More and more professionals coming, professional CEOs coming into the forefront. More and more real estate companies going more and more national. More and more companies going global. Startup entering the top 10. More and more large players coming in the top 100. So overall, the story has been fantastic. So these are some of the key points. And before I wind up, I'd like to again thank GROHE and Lixil and Priya for such a wonderful partnership. It's amazing. I think whenever we publish such lists, we always go back and the list is compiled. We go and ask, this is the sort of trends that we see through our report, and what do you see based on your interactions with developers? And I'd like to hear you more when you speak about what you see on the ground. That's even more exciting and sort of validation of the research that we've done as well. Once again, thank you very much, and I look forward to interacting with you later. Thank you.